Hi everybody, we're going to make sponge toffee today. We won't need the wooden spoon, but if any of you get out of line. Alright, so you're going to need a pan about this size. This is a professional kitchen grade one that I took from a restaurant I used to work about many decades ago. So a very light, tiny bit of canola spray, any brand's good. Whatever's on sale is best. Paper towel. Oh, before I go any further, I always like to disinfect my hands with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. There we are. They have been washed. And then you can take any size or ripped off piece of paper towel and just smooth the oil around the pan. Don't spray the edges because you're going to add the oil to them there, and if you do, you'll just get oil all over the place. So directly on the bottom of the pan. Then you set aside, I like mine right beside the pot that I'm going to boil the sugar and all the other stuff in. So as you can see, I joined a pirate group because I got bored again. And today's episode I'm going to dedicate to Graham Kerr, who was one of the greatest Canadian chefs ever on Canadian television. Made possibly, no, there's been more since the shopping channels joined us. Only instead of doing alcoholic moments and accidents on the show, we're just going to try to avoid them. So you're going to need sugar, of course, corn syrup. We've already done the oil. I can put that away now. So the reason I'm doing this for you today is because sugar was on sale. So, and you'll various measuring implements. And by the way, welcome to my food laboratory. So I've already pre-measured 2/3 of a cup of corn syrup, which we'll get back to in a minute. So now I can put this away and keep my counter area clean. I don't like clutter, and you're going to be boiling something to a very hot temperature of 300 degrees. And so you don't want to risk an accident. You're going to need a, well, they tell you to use a candy thermometer, but mine doesn't, you know, it's kind of flimsy and it's glass, and I don't like putting glass in there. So I actually use the one that I use for turkeys. So I like to set it up right here. You usually have to re-pinch it because they get loose, and you don't want it to fly when it's boiling on the tip of there and it goes flying into your eye. You could use safety glasses if you're a contact lens wearer. I'm told that if you get anything between the contact lens and your eyeball, it's not pleasant, so I can imagine boiling candy is even worse. Alright, so we'll get this set up. This is one of the trickier parts, but I have a kind of handle here on my pot that sort of allows me to anchor it in eventually with a little bit of patience. So hi Diva, you've already eaten. Did you? Oh, I can't pick you up to say hi to everybody. Well, you know what, we'll deal with this later because it's about to aggravate my mood disorder. So, let's measure out our 2.5 cups of sugar. I personally like these big cup measuring things that are kind of like a huge measuring spoon. There we go, there's the 1. And a 2. Now don't turn on the heat yet because you're going to burn your sugar, and that, well, it tastes good when you do it in your chemistry set when you were a kid and you sort of put sugar in a test tube and burnt it with that Bunsen burner it came with. But I don't think it applies well to this candy. So we've got all our sugar, 2.5 cups and a bit. I'm sorry about the noise, folks. Sugar gets put away. Now, the reason I like to use a glass measuring cup when I'm measuring up the corn syrup is once you've got it poured in, you'll notice that there's a lot of residue left on the measuring cup itself. So an easy way to get that out is if you didn't luck out and find one of these silicone scooper thingies. This is the best thing I ever bought for a kitchen, by the way. You waste so little, whether it's cake batter or candy stuff, scraping things off of it. So I put this in my microwave, which you cannot see, or maybe you can, for about 40 seconds on high, and I keep my eye on it. And as soon as it starts to bubble, I take it out and I pour it into the pot, and most of it will come out so you're not wasting any. Then I use the same measuring cup to measure my 1/3 of a cup of water, which further cleanses the cup and gets more product into your pot. So it started to go a little haywire in there, so out it comes. And you can just pour the remainder in there with basically not wasting anything. And now I'm going to go get my water. Okay, there's your 1/3 of a cup of water. Now in the recipe I had, they said to put your vanilla in, 2 teaspoons of vanilla in, well, just before, or actually after you put in your baking soda. But I found that very awkward and it kind of ruined my mixture. So now I'm starting to put it in at the beginning. So 1 teaspoon measured. And the second one. Oh. Gonna have to look for when vanilla's on sale next. There we are. I can afford regular price vanilla, but I refuse to pay exorbitant prices for something that shouldn't be so expensive. I haven't yet heard about a panic on, or a what was I talking? Alright, I'm turning the pot on. I'm having a senior moment. I can put the measuring cups away now. I usually give this a quick but not... Wait a minute. Yeah. A quick but not whisking kind of like stir, just to mix everything up a bit together. I've got my heat on maximum. You don't have to worry about it. So don't use your best pot for this. But I wouldn't use a flimsy one either, because then you might scald something. So there you have it. And because I have clean fingers, and because I'm going to be boiling it to a temperature that will disinfect anything I may have contaminated it with. So, okay, so you're not supposed to play with it. You just let it boil till it reaches 300 degrees. It's easier to stick these in an animal's carcass than to, like, attach it to a pot. But I usually get it eventually. And I always keep the actual candy thermometer on hold in case anything goes wrong with this one. It should take about 10 minutes. I usually find it takes a little bit longer. And make sure that you don't have any open windows, because the bees will come to your house. And you don't want bees all over your house. If that should happen, turn on an overhead light. They will all gather to that light, and then you can decide what you're going to do about it once you've assembled them. So this is really not cooperating today, but I'm maintaining my composure. So I guess I'm going to tighten it even more. It's all about getting it as close to the edge of the buttered side as you can. Well, let's try this. I'll edit this out. Okay, finally. So now we just wait. So if you want to go off and get yourself a snack. Whoa. All right, now it's been a little bit humid lately, and I find that when it's more humid out, the candy it doesn't set as good as it ought to. It just doesn't get crispy enough. It's still good, and it's still, better than what you're going to get at the store, but it's not its best. So today I'm going to experiment with putting something cold under my pan, which I've not done before. So there might be a really big explosion at some point, which might be fun for you to observe and witness. There's got to be a way to do this. So this is why I call it a laboratory. Nothing always works right. So it's already begun to bubble. I'll bring the camera over for you in a moment if I ever get this darn thing settled out. So it looks like I'm going to need to wedge something. Why, this is embarrassing. All right. Well, I know we don't need it yet anyway, so in the meantime, I'm going to set it there. You should probably have some good gloves to protect yourself for when we whisk in the baking soda. So you're going to have to whisk in your baking soda right at the very end. I have this really big one, but in order not to waste so much of what you're going to be putting in there, I use the skinnier one. So I'm going to put this one back now that you know you don't need it. I'm going to begin to measure out my baking soda because I'm getting the boil happening quite well. So then you can reuse one of your measuring devices, and you're going to scoop out with your other measuring teaspoon 4 teaspoons of baking soda, flat. You don't really want too much of that. This is the reason why when you're finishing up whatever you've taken in the way of sponge toffee at the end, and it's turned into an actual toffee, and you get that slightly salty taste, it's from this baking soda. There. So we got the 4 of them ready. So now it's bubbling so much, I'm just going to turn this down just a smidge. And I'm going to, even if I have to hold it myself, I'll take a reading. Ooh, it's fast today. $250 already, so 50 more degrees to go. Baking soda and whisk are on hand. I would really like to get this thing under control. I need a clamp of some kind. When's a photographer's assistant when you need one? If I have a really bad accident, can somebody call the police or an ambulance? All right. So, a clamp. I used to have clamps. finally success. It's stationary, and we're bubbling. Now you don't really want to put your face over it. There were warnings about that. So now you can kind of do whatever you like. I'm going to tidy up a bit. I can put one of my extra bags of sugar away now. Maybe I'll put it here. There. See what I mean? Oh, nearly 275. It's doing nicely. So clearly this is not for my diabetic friends. So once you get to 275, 280, it'll be pretty quick from that moment on. Scraper ready in case, gloves at hand. 20 more degrees to go. By this point you can put the recipe away because the rest is pretty basic. So far, I've really only dirtied this. We're almost there. Get the glove ready. Okay, so today I'm taking 2 cooler ice packs and I'm going to set them underneath my pan. Which I will cover with a towel. So that they hit better. Guess what? It's time. So we can take this out, turn off the heat, move your mixture off the element. At least one glove on. I don't like to use the glove with the hand that I'm going to whisk with. So I sprinkle around, not all in one spot. Light tap, quick whisk over the pan. Make sure you do whisk it because then you'll end up with some baking soda deposits. You immediately pour it into the pan and try to get as much of this out as fast as you can. So this is, I put that aside. Oops, scrapers here. That was bad planning. All right. Sides, bottom. And get as much of it out as you can because what's left in the pan will harden, will be very difficult to eat. Oh, it's rising nicely today. Maybe the ice underneath is really helping. So the nice thing about silicone is it will handle up to like 1,000 degrees. So that's about what I've got left. It's not that much, didn't waste too much. If you cleaned your stove with rubbing alcohol like I do beforehand, you can scrape off the drips later and eat them. So I usually set this aside in my measuring cup, and I might, deal with it later, kind of like as harder candy and a sucker kind of thing. So in here, or actually you can lay it on top like that so it's easier to get out. Woo! So, here it is. So the iPhone still works. Here is your finished product. It will sink a little bit. So you can drop an iPhone in a mixture of hot candy and it will survive. All right. I'll get back to you when it's finished. Thanks, everyone. Well, my camera, aka iPhone, fell in the mixture when I was going to show it to you. So here it is, finished. It won't let me flip. Here it is, finished. Yeah, I think you can see it there okay, and I'll let you know how it tastes later. Oops. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Stay well. So here it is. Should take me about 20 minutes, and it should be really good. I'm holding it with a glove so it's not contaminating it. Nice and bubbly and crispy. So the pan was tilted, so I got a nice big thick side to chew down on, and hey, drop by and have a taste. Talk to you later, everyone. Bye.